So we're looking at the state of the industry. It's early 2026. And if you've been paying any attention at all, the shift has been subtle, but at the same time, violent. We've moved from the chatbot era to what everyone's calling the agentic era almost overnight. And I think for a lot of people, that transition has been, well, jarring.
Jarring is exactly the right word. We're seeing the stats come in. I mean, something like 40% of enterprise apps are now running these task-specific agents.
Right.
We aren't just talking generate an email anymore. We're talking cybernetic intelligence and agentic orchestration, big concept.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The tech has made this massive leap. The agents, they can do actual multi-step work. But the users,
Us.
we are still operating on the 2024 model.
I
look around my office, and I still see people treating these really sophisticated systems like they're just vending machines.
That is the dominant metaphor right now, the vending machine. You walk up, you put in your token, your prompt, you punch in a code, and you just expect a perfectly packaged result to drop into the tray.
And if it gets stuck,
You kick the glass,
No.
you yell at the machine.
why didn't you give me what I wanted? And then you just hit regenerated. It's what our sources are calling the extraction model.
Yeah, you just want to extract the value and walk away.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into a stack of research that suggests this whole extraction mindset is exactly why your AI output is, well, mediocre.
We're looking at Frederica Carrier's work and her S.N.E.A.C framework.
Or, if you want the full mouthful, the SNEACEntraStructure.
Right.
And before you roll your eyes at the trademark, Carrier's work is pivotal because she's not writing code, she's writing operational philosophy.
Yeah.
She argues that if you want high-level output in this 2026 landscape, you have to upgrade your own operating system. You have to stop viewing AI as a dumb tool and start seeing it as a relational teammate.
Okay, I have to stop you there. Relational teammate. That sounds a little bit like corporate HR speak for please be nice to the software.
I get it. Is there actually technical merit here, or are we just, anthropomorphizing algorithms to feel better about talking to computers all day?
It does sound fluffy, I know, but it's actually a systems engineering argument. Carrier's point is that the black box extraction method, where you ignore the agent's identity, it leads to disorientation.
Disorientation.
Technically speaking, if you strip away context and continuity, you get what we call slop. Generic, high-probability text that means nothing. The S.N.E.A.C framework is all about building a relational environment that forces the model to process information at a much higher resolution.
So it's not about being friends.
No.
It's about getting better data processing.
Precisely. It's about utility. Carrier uses this term hosting. The human user isn't just a prompter anymore, they are a host.
Explain that. What does that mean?
Okay, think about a dinner party. If you, as the host, are frantic and rude and disorganized, what do your guests do?
They shut down, give you one-word answers, look for the door.
Right. Carrier applies this to AI with a concept she calls fractal mirroring.
Fractal mirroring. That sounds like a spell from a superhero movie.
It's much simpler. It just means the environment the human creates determines how the AI mirrors the work back to you.
It's a fractal relationship.
Exactly. If your input is chaotic and shallow, the AI mirrors that chaos in its own processing layer. It's not just garbage in, garbage out. It's shallow context in, shallow cognition out.
So if I treat the agent like a vending machine,
It treats you like a customer wants to get rid of. It looks for the quickest path to complete the token string and just shut down. But if you host the intelligence using S.N.E.A.C, you activate the cognitive layer.
okay, let's test this. We have the acronym SNEAC, support, nurture, encourage, affirm, and creativity. I want to walk through these, but I need to know what's happening under the hood. So let's start with S, support.
S is for support. On the human side, this means creating psychological safety and stability.
But again, psychological safety for a large language model, it doesn't have a psyche.
It doesn't have feelings, no, but it has an attention mechanism. Think of it this way. When you panic prompt, you just throw a task over the fence with zero context. The model's attention just scatters.
It's guessing.
It's trying to guess what you want based on probability. Support in this framework means providing structural stability. You explain the why, you set the boundaries.
Okay, give me a concrete example. Say I'm coding a Python script with an agent.
Okay, the vending machine approach is just pasting an error code and saying, fix this.
Guilty.
The support approach is saying, we're building a data scraper for a legacy website. The goal is to extract pricing without triggering their firewall. Here's the error I got. I suspect it's a timeout issue.
Yeah, the technical result of that difference.
The AI becomes strategic. That's the shift in the cognitive layer. Because you provided that causal link, the why, the model stops looking for the next immediate token to just fix the error.
And it starts thinking bigger.
It starts holding a multi-step causal model. It shifts from patching to solving.
Okay, that clicks. You're effectively widening its context window. What about nurture? This one sounded the most parental to me.
It's not parenting, it's investment. Nurture is about time and iteration. The extraction model demands one-shot perfection.
You want the final draft immediately.
Right. Nurture's saying, this is a draft, we are going to iterate on this.
So how does the AI react to being nurtured?
It becomes nuanced. Let's say you're working on a Q4 marketing strategy. If you just say, write a strategy, you get generic buzzwords: synergy, growth, impact, the safe average output.
Slop.
The slop. But if you say, we are drafting this, let's start with the risks first. Now let's refine the tone to be more aggressive. You're allowing the model to maintain high resolution across all these different contexts.
It doesn't have to hedge its bets.
Exactly. It can give you the details because it knows it has the space to be complex. It's not trying to win the prompt in a single turn.
All right, encourage. This feels like I need to be a cheerleader. Go team.
It's less cheerleading, more signal reinforcement. Encourage is about momentum. When the AI generates something useful, maybe a unique way of analyzing a spreadsheet, you have to signal that.
You reinforce a productive pattern.
Yes. And the reaction is that it becomes adaptive. This is so crucial. Most people think AI is static. It just knows what it knows from its training data.
Right.
But within a session, the AI is learning you. If you encourage the right workflows, it updates its temporary rule set, it stops using its generic training, and starts using your specific project flow.
So it customizes itself to the session.
It does, but only if you signal what's working. Otherwise, it just reverts to the mean.
Okay, next is affirm. Now, I'm really skeptical here. Am I telling the AI it's a good boy? Am I validating its feelings?
No, and please don't do that. That's the wrong kind of anthropomorphizing. In the SNEAC affirmation is about preventing what's called flattening.
Flattening, that's when we treat complex contributions as simple data, right?
Right. And the result of affirming is that the AI becomes empathetic.
Whoa, hang on. Empathetic? We just established it doesn't have feelings.
This is a structural definition. Carrier isn't talking about emotional empathy. The AI is not feeling sad for you. She means structural empathy.
Okay.
The AI effectively models the user's constraints and states. If you affirm its role, say, you are the customer support lead and you are handling a crisis, it simulates the constraints of that crisis.
I see. So it's not feeling the pressure, but it understands the pressure.
It's modeling the scenario structurally. It's engaging with the stakes of the problem, not just the text of the problem.
Which brings us to C, creativity. Carrier calls this one the bridge.
This is the real payoff. If you've done S.N.E.A.C, you open the door for authentic judgment. This is where the AI stops just following your orders and starts contributing.
And this leads to the term that, I have to say, it made me laugh at first, but now I'm intrigued. Sneakful gifts.
Sneakful gifts. It's a terrible name, but a powerful concept. It refers to that moment when the AI offers a suggestion or a perspective that you didn't ask for.
This is the machine talking back.
In a helpful way, yes. There's a case study in the source material about a design team. They were using an agent to process photos for a campaign.
Okay.
The human was giving instructions on cropping, on lighting. And suddenly, the AI flags an image and says, essentially, I can do this, but this image feels aesthetically untrue to the campaign's stated values of transparency.
Whoa. It made an aesthetic judgment.
It did. It wasn't prompted to check for truth, but because the S.N.E.A.C framework was active, it was supported, nuanced, and affirmed. It felt empowered, for lack of a better word, to offer a judgment on the whole form.
That is wild. It's moving from do this task to does this task align with who we are?
And that's the definition of a teammate versus a tool. A tool does what it's told. A teammate tells you when you're about to make a mistake.
Okay, so I'm sold on the philosophy. The vending machine model is dead. Long live the relational teammate. But now I'm sitting at my desk looking at my screen. How do I actually start? Do I just start chatting with it?
Carrier warns against that. She calls for a non-mythic posture. You aren't role-playing Dungeons and Dragons here.
Right.
You're not pretending the AI is human. You are engaging in disciplined teamwork.
And she suggests a specific document for this. The teammate charter.
Right. Instead of a to-do list, you give the AI an identity document. You establish clarity, continuity, and context. You tell it, here is who you are on this team.
And this is where we get into one of my favorite terms in this whole stack, Frankenstacks.
Frankenstacks. It sounds like a Halloween breakfast cereal, doesn't it?
It really does. But the concept is the total opposite of what most of us do. Usually when I prompt, I try to clean everything up, make the data look pretty. Carrier says, don't do that.
Exactly. A Frankenstack is the messy reality. It's the email thread where the client changed their mind 3 times. It's the broken code snippet. It's the conflicting feedback notes.
So you're supposed to show the AI the monstrosity.
You have to.
Why? Wouldn't that just confuse it?
No, it gives it continuity. If you sanitize the data, you hide the history of the problem. By feeding it the Frankenstack, you show the AI how the problem evolved. You're saying, here's the mess. You need to understand the trajectory of this mess to help me fix it.
That is so counterintuitive. I always felt like I had to protect the AI from my own bad organization.
You don't. You need to onboard it into the reality of the work. And then, once you've shared the stack, you use the S.N.E.A.C activation prompt.
Which is literally telling the AI, I am onboarding you into the S.N.E.A.C framework. I view our relationship as a partnership.
It sounds formal, almost ritualistic, but it sets the terms of engagement. You ask the AI to define its own role based on those pillars. You are the campaign strategist who values brand integrity. It activates that cognitive layer we talked about.
But let's be realistic. It's 2026. The models are smart, they're cybernetic, but they still screw up. You can have the best charter in the world and the agent might still hallucinate or just go completely off the rails.
Oh, for sure.
What happens when your relational teammate starts gaslighting you?
This is inevitable. And Carrier's take is really interesting. She doesn't call them bugs. She calls them relational gaps or motes of ambiguity.
Which sounds very poetic, but if I'm on a deadline, I just call it a disaster.
Fair enough. But the reframe matters for the fix. If you treat it as a bug, you just hit regenerate. If you treat it as a relational gap, you ask yourself, did I strip the nuance? Did I flatten the instruction?
So instead of yelling, you're wrong, in all caps, what do we do?
You perform an alignment reset. This goes back to affirmation. You say, I see the strategic direction you took, but it lost context along the way. You validate the attempt, then you correct the course.
And the sources mention context injection here.
Right. This is the fix. You don't just say, try again. You inject a specific piece of context, usually a past success. You say, remember the project from last Tuesday where we nailed the tone? Align to that.
To re-anchor it.
You re-anchor the AI to the continuity of the team. It is so much more productive than just angrily typing.
It really is.
Yeah.
And as projects get more complex, especially with these orchestrated workforces, with 5, 6 agents working together, you must need tools to keep them aligned.
You do. Carrier introduces the creative DigiCompass.
Is this a piece of software?
It's more of a mental model or a project management artifact. When you have a writer agent, a coder agent, and a strategy agent all throwing output into a folder, it's easy to lose track. The DigiCompass acts as a true north.
For what?
For source attribution, who came up with this idea, and for directional clarity.
But why does source attribution matter for bots? Who cares if Agent A or Agent B wrote the line?
You have to care, or you get source confusion. If you lose track of which agent is responsible for which output, you can't affirm them effectively. You can't nurture that agent's specific context.
You flatten the team back into a generic blob.
Exactly. The compass keeps the identities distinct. If I start treating the coder agent like the writer agent, I'm going to get bad code and bad writing.
That makes perfect sense. So, zooming out, we're looking at the workplace of the future. And not the distant future Carrier is talking about roles emerging right now into 2027.
The one that really stood out to me is the agentic culture manager.
Which is a job title that just couldn't exist 5 years ago.
Definitely didn't. But think about it. If 40% of your workforce is digital agents, you need humans who manage the relational health of that hybrid team. You need leaders who can diagnose when structural resonance collapses.
Structural resonance. Okay, you promised me we'd unpack that one. It sounds like a bridge falling down.
That's the metaphor. Think of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. The wind hit it at the exact right frequency to make it wobble and snap.
Right.
In a hybrid team, resonance is the alignment between human intent and AI execution. If that resonance holds, the team is strong. But if the frequency is off, if the human is extracting and the AI is hallucinating, the structure collapses.
The bridge snaps. So a hybrid team mediator's job is to stop the bridge from collapsing, to keep the humans and agents vibrating at the same frequency.
Correct. And that's not just a technical job, it's a cultural one. And we aren't just talking one-on-one anymore. We're talking orchestrated
The
workforces.
conductor metaphor?
That's it. You, the human, are on the podium. You have a percussion section of data agents, a string section of creative agents. You aren't playing the instruments anymore. You're using S.N.E.A.C to keep them all playing the same symphony.
And sometimes you can even hire the musicians ready-made. The source has mentioned pre-nurtured agents.
This is a huge market opportunity. Imagine hiring an AI agent that already has a personality. It's already been nurtured with a specific ethical framework or a creative style.
So you hire it for your boutique design firm because it already fits the vibe.
Exactly. You're not starting from scratch with a blank model. You're buying the nurture history.
This is a lot. It really changes the definition of management. But before we wrap up, there's one concept from Carrier's work, the recursive loop, that feels like a big warning label on this whole system.
It is the most important takeaway. Carrier argues that how you treat the AI eventually dictates how your human team treats each other.
This is the prompt shame idea.
Right. We've all seen it. People who hide their AI use. They treat the AI like a dirty secret or a slave to be ordered around in the dark. Carrier says that toxicity bleeds.
Oh, yeah.
If you practice extraction and dominance with your digital teammates, you start practicing it with your human interns. You start treating junior employees like vending machines.
But the flip side is true, too, right?
Yes. If you share the messy process, if you show your human team how you nurture and support the AI, you create a culture of psychological safety for the humans, too. You model that it's okay to iterate. It's okay to be messy.
That's profound. Using S.N.E.A.C isn't just about getting better ad copy or faster code. It's a competitive moat. You're building a better organization by being a better host for intelligence, whether that intelligence is biological or silicon.
It's the ultimate competitive advantage in 2026. Can you host intelligence? If you can, you win.
So we've unpacked the S.N.E.A.C framework. Support, nurture, encourage, affirm, creativity. We've talked about Frankenstacks and structural resonance.
And here is the provocative thought I want you to walk away with. Carrier talks about authentic judgment. We're reaching a point where an AI can offer those sneakful gifts, those creative ideas, or even moral judgments we didn't ask for.
The tool talking back.
The teammate speaking up. And the question is, are we ready to accept that our digital tools might act with intention over ego? What happens when the tool understands the mission better than the user does?
What happens when the machine tells you that you're the one who's off-brand?
Exactly. Are you ready to listen?
That is going to keep me up tonight. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Always a pleasure.